All right. What do we have here? We have, I could jump on it, and I could actually start stomping on stuff. So let's say we stomp on this guy, and then we, while he is stomped, we could move him off. Let's say he stomped, and then he kind of would pop back up after he stomped if we're not fast enough. Now, how are we going to make it that he pops back up if he's crushed? Just a section, and I'll call it helpers. Now, I didn't mention it, but after the word region, I could type whatever I want. I don't have to add these dashes. It could be just be whatever I want, and what that is what shows when it's collapsed. All right, so in this one for can, I'm going to add a enum. An enum is a way that numbers could equal words. I got two modes, crushed and fixed. I'm going to have a private variable mode, and when the game starts, it's going to be fixed. So now if the can is crushed, then I'm going to be the mode equals new mode.crush. When it gets crushed, it'll be crushed for an amount of time, and then it'll pop back up. So private float mark, I'm going to mark time here. Mark equals time.time. This is when it got crushed. And now in the update function, private void update switch mode. Case mode of crush, then I'll be checking to see when I'm going to uncrush it. If time.time minus the mark time is greater than 5 seconds, then it will pop back up. Public void fix can. Actually, this could be private because it's going to happen inside. Private void fix can, then I'll say fix can, and in here I'll set the mode equal to mode fixed, and then I'll set the size back. This dot transform.localscale equals new vector 3 original scale dot x, original scale dot y, and original scale dot z. When I'm fixed, I'm going to be moving around. So case new mode dot fixed. Then what I'll do is I'll do something. First, let's see if the can pops back up after how many seconds. Let's make that a variable up here. Public float fixed time equals. I said 5 seconds, right? Where's the thing where it checks the time? Here it is, fixed time. Or I'll just call it fixed time. So I'll just rename it to fixed time. First, I'm just going to see if I could crush it, and then it pops back up. So I'm going to press play. Okay, jump on the can, crush it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it pops back up. Cool. Now what I want to do is, like, when it's smashed, I want to be able to push it off the edge. All right, but if it pops back up, I can't push it off the edge. I got to get away from it. As I was pushing it, you see it was kind of hard for me to push it. I'm the player, and my mass is 1. And the can that I'm trying to push, its mass is 1. We have like the same mass. Let's make the cans have a mass of 10. And then I'm going to pick the player, and I'll say the player will have a mass of 50. And now let's see how it works when I push the can. When I could push it. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw something happen. The can smushed, and I didn't land on it. I just touched it. So let me just see that, fix that again. I touch it, and it's smushed. I don't want that to be, I want it to be that I have to jump on it. Let's go back to the player here, the previous velocity y, that if it's less than 0, it means that the player is coming down. And if I'm coming down, and I land on the enemy, then I'll say, boom, I could stomp on the player. Why didn't that work? Oh, let's come back to that. Let me finish off the can, so like keep the video focused. What I wanted to do with the can when it was in fixed mode, the can is going to try to chase after me. The can is going to have to know where I am, so the can is going to have to know who the player is. So let's make a variable here that's going to hold the player. Private game object player equals null. And then in the start function here, we could set the player equals, so we'll use game object dot find object with tag, one object with tag, where the tag is player. So there'll be one object in the game with the tag player. Then I go back into Unity and I check my player object and I make sure that the player object is tagged player. And hopefully that is the only player object. So now I'll have a pointer to the player. And in the update, if the mode is the can is fixed, then what'll happen is this dot, there's a function move towards, where is it? Transform dot move towards, all right, I can't remember where it is, so let me just look it up over here, and it's Unity move towards, and oh, it's just vector3 move towards. This dot transform dot position equals vector3 dot move towards. This is a function that's going to have my object move toward another object's position. Current position is the first thing that it wants, so that would be this dot transform dot position. And then the second parameter it wants is the target, so that will be the player dot transform dot position. And the third thing is how much distance to move. We'll say move speed. We'll use a variable called move speed, and it's squiggly because I didn't define that variable yet. And times time dot delta time. So now move speed, we have to define that. So let me just copy that and then come up here. We'll make it a public variable, public float move speed, and we'll say that these move at a speed of, okay, the bigger the move speed value is, the faster it'll move toward me. So let's see what happens. Here's the can, here's the player. I press play, the can is in a fixed position, and it's moving toward me. Cool. Get away! So I'm going to say that when it is in that shape where it's crushed, that I could push it. And when it's not in the shape, I actually have to stay away from it. When it's crushed, I could try to knock it off. Stop right here. Let's just go over what we did. We kind of have the enemy. And now we have two modes. It's either crushed or fixed. When the enemy is in the crushed mode, there's a timer that waits until that many seconds go by, and then the can fixes itself. So there's a function for crushing the can and a function for fixing the can. All right, good.